Jai. So the last two meetings, we read the Prema Samputa and came across a pastime where Krishna had assumed the form of a goddess and pried into the heart of Srimati Radharani to better understand her feelings about him. The general nature of living beings is that we don't reveal our inner sentiments openly. But when circumstances arise, sometimes they become revealed. So in order to mine the sentiments of Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, the Chaitanya Charitamrita offers a unique perspective. And that's why we'll study this chapter. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 4, the confidential reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a foolish child can fully describe the real nature of Lord Krishna, the enjoyer in the pastimes of Braj, according to the vision of the revealed scriptures. Purport. One can ascertain the meaning of this Sanskrit shloka only when one is endowed with the causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Sri Krishna, being the absolute personality of Godhead, cannot be exposed to the mundane instruments of vision. He reserves the right not to be exposed by the intellectual feats of non-devotees. Notwithstanding this truth, even a small child can understand Lord Sri Krishna and his transcendental pastimes in the land of Vrindavan by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glory to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glory to Lord Nityananda. All glory to Sri Advaita Acharya, and all glory to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. I have described the meaning of the 4th verse. Now, O devotees, kindly hear the explanation of the 5th verse. Just to explain the original verse, I shall first suggest its meaning. I have given the essential meaning in the 4th verse. This incarnation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, descends to propagate the chanting of the holy name and spread love of God. Although this is true, this is but the external reason for the Lord's incarnation. Please hear one other reason, the confidential reason for the Lord's appearance. Purport. In the 3rd chapter, 4th verse, it has been clearly said that Lord Chaitanya appeared in order to distribute love of Krishna and the chanting of his transcendental holy name, Hare Krishna. This was the secondary purpose of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. The real reason is different, as we shall see in this chapter. So I feel honored and privileged to be able to understand Krishna from such a position of associating with his intimate friends and associates. The way that Chaitanya Charitamrita was written, for those who might not know the exact history, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And according to the book, the story is told in the text, how he was instructed by Lord Nityananda in a dream to go to Vrindavan. When he went to Vrindavan, he met Raghunath Das Goswami at Radhakund. This was after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, because during his appearance, during his pastimes, Raghunath Das Goswami had been in Jagannath Puri with Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Rai, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami was privy. He understood and had witnessed the intimate heart of Lord Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So he would daily recite the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya at Radhakund. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami heard those dealings, those pastimes, and then wrote this book. So let us see what is revealed as we progress through the chapter. Samapriya, another reader.
Yes, Hare Krishna, everyone. Nice to see you all here. This is a real special reading of Adi 4. This is the heart of Lord Chaitanya and the heart of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya.
And the heart of Srimati Radharani. It's like
This is the heart of
amazing.
Srimati, definitely. Okay, let's start today with Mukunda. Nice to see you here again, Prabhu. Would
Yes,
you like
welcome
to
back,
read?
Mukunda. Hi.
Text 7?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The scriptures proclaim that Lord Krishna previously descended to take away the burden of the earth. To take away this burden, however, is not the work of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maintainer. To take away this burden, is not the work of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The maintainer, Lord Vishnu, is the one who protects the universe. But the time to lift the burden of the world mixed with the time for Lord Krishna's incarnation. Purport. We have information from Bhagavad Gita that the Lord appears at particular intervals to adjust time-worn spiritual culture. Lord Sri Krishna appeared at the end of Dwapara Yuga to regenerate the spiritual culture of human society and also to manifest his transcendental pastimes. Vishnu is the authorized Lord who maintains the created cosmos, and he is also the principal deity who makes adjustments for improper administration in the cosmic creation. Sri Krishna is the primeval Lord, and he appears not to make such administrative adjustments, but only to exhibit his transcendental pastimes and thus attract the fallen souls back to Godhead. However, the time for the administrative rectification and the time for Lord Sri Krishna's appearance coincided at the end of the last Dwapara Yuga. Therefore, when Sri Krishna appeared, Vishnu, the Lord of maintenance, also merged in him, because all the plenary portions and parts of the absolute personality of Godhead merge in him during his appearance.
Oh, can you explain that last part, Mukunda? That's really an important point, I think.
That whenever Krishna comes, because he is the source of all of the manifestations of the Godhead, starting with the manifestation of Baladev. Baladev expands as a Mool Shankarshan. Then from there, there's a second Shankarshan and two Chatuvyuhas that cover all of Mathura and Dwarka, as well as all of Vaikuntha planets. From that second Shankarshan, Mahavishnu expands. Then from him, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So the root of all of that is Sri Krishna himself. So that's fully explained also in Sanatan Siksha in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is one of the unique things about Chaitanya Charitamrita is that whereas Chaitanya Bhagavat dealt more with the Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Raghunath Das Goswami's notes that he got from Sadhu Damodar contained so much of the philosophical and theological ideas, he was able to put all of that in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So you have these kind of detailed things.
So when Krishna acts as the maintainer, that's to be understood that it's the maintainer aspect of himself.
As Vishnu.
As
Yeah.
Vishnu. So
The creation is maintained by Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and each individual jiva. Jiva Goswami says in Paramatma Sandarbha, Paramaika Seshita, all the jivas manifest from that Kshirodakshaya Vishnu.
Sure.
So he maintains our life being in the heart of every jiva and so forth, so on.
Very nice. That's important to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all of these aspects of Godhead are within him.
Yes.
And sometimes he manifests this, and sometimes he doesn't. Very good. Thank you. Okay, so let's go on with Faye. Would you like to read, Faye? Unmute. Oh. I see her, but I don't hear. You want to unmute, Faye?
Maybe somebody else until she can get it together.
Okay, Tisha? Smiling Tisha,
Oh,
nice to
there she
see you here again. Faye, you'll read next after Tisha.
Okay. Oh, good to see everybody. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Text 10. When the complete Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, all other incarnations of the Lord meet together within him. Text 11 and 12.
You don't have to
Lord-
read the text numbers, okay,
Okay,
Tisha?
okay, yes.
Stop that.
Lord Narayana, the four primary expansions, Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, Matsya, and the other Leela incarnations, the Yuga avatars, the Manvantara avatar incarnations, and as many other incarnations as there are, all descend in the body of Lord Krishna. In this way, the complete Supreme Godhead, Lord Krishna himself, appears. At that time, therefore, Lord Vishnu is present in the body of Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna kills the demons through him. Thus, the killing of the demons is but secondary work. I shall now speak of the main reason for the Lord's incarnation. The Lord's desire to appear was born from two reasons. One, the Lord wanted to taste the sweet essence of the mellows of love of God. And two, he wanted to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. Thus, he is known as supremely jubilant and as the most merciful of all.
Before you read the purport, Tisha, read the two reasons again, 1 and 2.
1, the Lord wanted to taste the sweet essence of the mellows of love of God. And 2, he wanted to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. Thus, he is known as supremely jubilant and as the most merciful of all.
Go on.
Purport. During the period of Lord Krishna's appearance, the killing of asuras or non-believers, such as Kamsa and Jarasandh, was done by Vishnu, who was within the person of Sri Krishna. Such apparent killing by Lord Sri Krishna took place as a matter of course and was an incidental activity for him. But the real purpose of Lord Krishna's appearance was to stage a dramatic performance of his transcendental pastime in Vrajabhumi, thus exhibiting the highest limit of transcendental mellow in the exchanges of reciprocal love between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. These reciprocal exchanges of mellows are called Raga Bhakti, or devotional service to the Lord and transcendental rapture. Lord Sri Krishna wants to make known to all the conditioned souls that he is more attracted by Raga Bhakti than Vidhi Bhakti, or devotional service under scheduled regulations. It is said in the Vedas, Taittiriya Upanishad, Rasovai Sa, the absolute truth is the reservoir of all kinds of reciprocal exchanges of loving sentiments. He is also causelessly merciful, and he wants to bestow upon us this privilege of Raga Bhakti. Thus, he appeared as his own internal energy. He was not forced to appear by any extraneous force.
Okay. Do you understand that? That's pretty wonderful. What can you tell me about spontaneous love from reading that section?
Well, that's actually what my question was about. Like, what are we saying that we do these services, we chant japa and we serve the Lord and have festivals and celebrate the Lord? Does that create spontaneous love? Or
Yes.
is this something different that I don't? Is that how you get spontaneous love?
Right. By serving,
Okay.
by developing a relationship. And the object is to fall in love with Krishna. That's the object. So we have to learn about who he is, right?
Right.
So, and we do that when you want to cultivate a relationship, a loving relationship, you serve that person, trying to make him happy, trying to make him notice you, trying to establish a relationship. Establishing a relationship is sambandha, the first aspect of our devotional service. Anyone can add something to that? Pati, do you want to
Yeah,
say
sure.
something?
The difference between Vidhi Bhakti and Raga Bhakti, it was described here, these reciprocal exchange, it said that he's more attracted The Lord Krishna wants to make known to all the conditioned souls that he's more attracted by raga bhakti than vidhi bhakti, or devotional service under scheduled regulations. The scriptures, the spiritual master, present before the disciple rules and regulations which regulate one's activities. And in the beginning, a person comes in contact and follows those rules and regulations out of submissive behavior and wanting to please the Lord. But what happens is that by following them, it's kind of like imagine learning music, going to a teacher and learning the scales, and just practicing the scales, practicing the scales, practicing the scales. As that becomes a natural function, then there's an impulse to expand naturally, to try and play songs and music, and that's never ending in its expansion. So in the same way, rather than being inspired and by the impulse to follow the rules, one actually develops a liking and a taste and an appreciation for the activities themselves in relationship to Krishna, and then performs the activities because of that, rather than just the rule.
Right.
And Krishna is saying he's more attracted and he appreciates that kind of activity more than somebody who's just following rules and regulations. One of the unique features of that, a kind of a quirk, is that sometimes it may appear that somebody who's following very strictly the rules and regulations is more advanced than someone who's not following them, when in actuality, through different circumstances, we can learn that actually the person who's not following is actually in love with Krishna more than the person who's simply following the rules and regulations of Vidhi Bhakti.
Okay, so now we have two more people who want to say something, but before that, this is not to say neglect the standard process of developing Bhakti Yoga. This is, and of course, Lord Chaitanya came to give us what, Tisha? You tell me. What is the process to
It's
develop this
the-
love?
The Yuga Dharma is to chant the Maha
Right.
Mantra.
And that's how we fall in love with Krishna, believe it or not.
But I
So
have
simple.
a question. I do have a question. So two people could be doing the same activity,
Ah, very good.
but one could be
It's not the
Feeling.
activity itself. It's not what you do, it's how you do it,
how you do
or
it.
why you're doing it.
Thank you.
Someone I want to ask Mukunda and Acharya to speak before I forget it, because I'm old and I forget stuff. Someone gave an example the other day. Duryodhana is shooting arrows and Arjuna is shooting arrows. They look like they're doing the same thing, but they're not doing the same thing, right? One is against Krishna and one is serving Krishna. Acharya and then Mukunda. Thank you, Tisha.
Thanks. I have something about this, and I also have something on a different tangent, which we could do or not. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu does specify that at the stage of Raganuga Bhakti, that devotee is also following the rules and regulations.
Mhm.
So it's not that he's giving up the rules or regulations, although he might be more selective about which ones, but it's not like no more rules or I don't have to follow rules. He specifies that they do follow
Very good. Nice
regulations.
point.
The choice is his, actually, sometimes.
Yeah.
The choice is his, which ones to follow.
Yeah, and
It's not
according to
recommended.
intelligence, they decide which are more applicable, but it's not like no rules.
Right,
Very good.
exactly. Yeah.
Good
And I have
point.
something on a different topic from the reading, or I
Yeah.
can wait if you wanted.
Go on.
Just a quick story. When Prabhupada started teaching Chaitanya Charitamrita to the young devotees at 26 Second Avenue, and he was teaching from the Sanatan instructions, and Satsarup and Umapati maybe used to take notes. So he was reading to them this section about the different Vishnus in Vaikuntha, how they have the four arms and the lotus is here and the chakra is here, like that. So Satsarup Maharaj, maybe he was even Steve at the time, I don't know if he was initiated, said, oh, because they were taking notes, should we learn this? Should we take notes on this? I said, no, you don't have to take notes on that. And then the next day he was teaching about Leela avatars, Yuga avatars, this avatar, all the different types of avatars. And Prabhupada said, this take notes, this you should learn.
Ah, very
Because
good.
that was I just thought of that because it was mentioned in the reading that that's a something worth learning and remembering.
Well, it's not that it's not, Prabhupada in the beginning, I mean, he was dealing with, he had a big challenge, and it's not that everything should be learned at once. Mukunda, thank you, Acharyaji.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the first thing you've already mentioned in practicing Raganuga Bhakti, rules and regulations are not given up. So like accepting Guru, going Mangalarti, chanting Harinam, the things that are mentioned that are not there are Dwarka Dhyan, which means exclusive meditation on Dwarka as a separate Leela. So if the performance of Raganuga Bhakti is there, because Raganuga Bhakti deals with Krishna in Vrindavan. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's mentioned there, Sakale Jagate More Vairi Bhakti, Braja Bhav, Paiti Nai Sakti. You cannot worship Krishna in Vrindavan by Vairi Bhakti. So therefore, the practice of the rules and regulations, and Dhruva Maharaj already pointed this out, is geared towards establishing what's called lobh or greed for serving Krishna in Vrindavan.
Well, I have a question then. If
Mhm.
somebody has a relationship with and wants to serve Krishna, like the Pandavas or like the queens in Dwarka, there is some, of course,
Sadhana.
formality. There's some
Yes.
formality, but there is also great spontaneity there as well. I mean, they were friends, Krishna and
Yeah.
Arjuna. They sat on the same bed, and there was all kinds of playfulness between Krishna and his wives. So there is formality there, but there is some spontaneity. It might not be the same as Braj, of course it's not, because it's a different mood, but there is spontaneity.
Yeah,
Is there
Jiva Goswami, he addressed it. He said if a person has a desire to serve like Matharesh Krishna, then he would practice a mixture of Vaidhi Bhakti and Rag. If he wants to serve Narayan in Vaikuntha, then the process for serving Lord Narayan is Vaidhi Bhakti. That's the process for
in Vaikuntha. Yeah.
And those who serve Dwarka Dish Krishna will serve in a mixture of Vaidhi and Raganuga. Those who want to serve in Braj, it will be Ragmarg.
Okay, so these things will happen
This will be
spontaneously.
expanded upon now as we continue.
Coming up, yeah.
Okay. Faye, you want to read now? Thank you, Tisha.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Yes.
Text 17.
Yes.
Lord Krishna thought, all the universe is filled with the conception of my majesty. But love, weakened by that sense of majesty, does not satisfy me. If one if one regards me as the Supreme Lord and himself as a subordinate, I do not become subservient to his love, nor can it control me. In whatever transcendental mellow my devotee worships me, I reciprocate with him. That is my natural behavior. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord, in his inherent nature, reveals himself before his devotees according to their inherent devotional service. The Vrindavan pastimes demonstrated that although generally people worship God with reverence, the Lord is more pleased when a devotee thinks of him as his pet son, personal friend, or dearmost fiancé, and renders service unto him with such natural affection. The Lord becomes a subordinate object of love in such transcendental relationships. Such pure love of Godhead is unadulterated by any tinge of superfluous non-devotional desires, and is not mixed with any sort of fruitive action or empiric philosophical speculation. It is pure and natural love of Godhead, spontaneously aroused in the absolute stage. This devotional service is executed in a favorable atmosphere, freed from material affection.
This next verse is a reference from Scripture to enhance or support that statement. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama avart mano vartante manusya partha sarvasha. Go ahead, Faye.
Thank you. In whatever way my devotees surrender unto me, I award them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Purport. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna affirms that formerly, some 120 million years before the Battle of Kurukshetra, he explained the mystic philosophy of the Gita to the sun god. The message was received through the chain of disciplic recession, but in course of time, the chain being broken somehow or other, Lord Sri Krishna appeared again and taught Arjuna the truth of the Bhagavad Gita. At the same time, the Lord spoke this verse, Bhagavad Gita 4.1, to his friend Arjuna.
Very good. Okay, can you, Pati, put it back up to the previous purport? Okay, Faye, you see where it says, such pure love of Godhead is unadulterated? You start reading there. Pati, you see where that is in the middle
Yes,
of the...
Mataji, such pure love of Godhead is unadulterated by any tinge of superfluous, non-devotional desires, and is not mixed with any sort of fruitive action or empiric philosophical speculation. It is pure and natural love of Godhead, spontaneously aroused in the absolute stage. This devotional service is executed in a favorable atmosphere, freed from material affection.
Now there you go. Can you say something about that, Faye? This is so important. This is how we get to that stage of spontaneous love.
I was picking up that Karma Yogi, Gyan Yogi, they are different steps, but Bhakti Yogi, that love of Godhead, devotional service aimed toward the love of Godhead, is so spectacularly personal, wonderful, blissful. That is how the Lord most appreciates being served, particularly when it is in the stage of, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, Raga Bhakti.
Yes.
Okay, and that is when you've reached this transcendental, almost euphoric stage of love, and the mellows of the exchange between the devotee and the Lord, that are spontaneous. They are not mixed with anything else. The purports use the word unadulterated, not tinged with anything else. That's pure love.
Nothing material, nothing
Yes,
based
ma'am.
on material, fruitive activities, material desires, thinking I'm the body, not based on that. And that's
Yes,
the only thing that will satisfy us, because we're all seeking this love. Mukunda, did you have something to say? Or oh, no? Okay. Very good. Thank you. That was beautiful, Faye. Thank you. Faye has been
Thank you
reading these.
for letting me join and listen, Mataji.
Oh, you're a sweetie. She's been
I
reading Prabhupada's
think
books for a while.
Acharya has
Acharya.
his.
Okay, Acharya-ji, sorry.
Yeah, this is a question. In that last reading, Srila Prabhupada seems to be equating spontaneous devotion with Anyabhilashita Shunyam, description and nectar of devotion. And he seems to be saying that that's spontaneous devotion. But as at least my understanding is that definition also does apply to sadhana bhakti. So I'm wondering, it,
Well,
if
different
you have some
stages.
comment on that, or maybe Mukunda does, or some
Okay.
thoughts on that.
It seems to me there's different stages, and it's like a circle. You go you go through the same things, but deeper and deeper and deeper into it. That's my understanding. Mukunda?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just curious how he seems to be equating that Anyabhilashita Shunyam specifically with spontaneous devotion. I thought that was interesting.
Anyone?
Okay.
Mukunda, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just the Anyamilasita Sunyam verse is the description in general Rupa Goswami is given for what is the standard of pure devotion.
Samanya Bhakti.
Yeah, Anyamilasita Sunyam, Gyanakamani and Navatam. This verse says there should be no other abhilas except Anukul Seva to Krishna. The practice to do that can be of two types. One is, again, if you're going to serve Krishna as Dwarkadish Krishna Narayan, Vaidhi Bhakti. If you want to serve Krishna in Braj, it will be Raga Nuga Sadhana Bhakti.
Sadhana.
So it's a sadhana. So Raga, it's in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he describes first Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, then he describes Raga Nuga Sadhana Bhakti. The perfection is called Bhav. So the goal of the practice is Bhav. Then in Bhav, a person practices absorbed to get prem once they give up this body.
Sometimes when we talk about Raga Nuga, people think it's a different kind of, different rules and regulations that you follow, when it is actually the mentality of what we have.
Perfect, yeah.
We have to have the right mentality, and it will happen in the heart. What's the first symptom if we're developing our spiritual love for Krishna? One of the first symptoms. We don't have desire.
Shraddha.
What was that?
Shraddha.
Shraddha, that's good. Shraddha is perfect. But we don't have a desire for other things, isn't it? We have no desire for anything else. If we're deciding to, you're just addicted to Krishna. The desire is that's the first step in Raga Nuga. Isn't it? That's my understanding. So anyway.
I would say one last thing is that I've traveled a lot to give classes on this. If we really look closely at the program that Srila Prabhupada gave, in the program itself, you can see that it's Raga Nuga Bhakti. But he wanted us to gradually unfold to that. I think Dhruva Maharaj has brought this up several times. And in maturation, you begin to see that the practice itself is Raga Nuga Bhakti. You listen to the song for Guru Astakam, what we're asking for in Tulsi prayer, then the fact that most of the deities are the deities of Radha and Krishna, or Gaurnitai and Radha Krishna. Then you look at, even during the Kartik Mas, you look closely at the song of Satyavrat Muni, the Damodarastakam. So the practice, it's called Abhideya, informs what is your ideal. Like if somebody's in their third year of law school, I wouldn't conjecture they're going to be a carpenter.
Right, but it does take time, and everybody's on their own time schedule.
Yeah.
And the same rules, in other words, what you're saying is that the same rules and regulations can bring us to the Raga stage. Like, for example, even though it's Radha Krishna in all of the temples except for New Dwarka, we are worshiping Lakshmi Narayan with great opulence and I don't know how much they're following the rules and regulations, and that was a little side thing, but it's necessary to follow all of the rules and regulations.
At this point, I think it's really important to understand what raga means. Raga Nuga. What is Raga Nuga? Anuga means to follow. Rupa Nuga, Raga Nuga. Anuga means to follow. So what is raga? Because Raga Nuga means to follow raga. And Raga Bhakti is specifically defined as that love which the residents of Vrindavan have for Krishna, and some residents of Dwarka and Mathura also. So it's a more personal relationship of the different rases, friends, parents, lovers, which dominates the feelings of the devotee much more than the awe and reverence exhibited by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why sometimes, in order to discern between the different feelings, the relationship between Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj, who didn't know Krishna was God, they saw him as their son. They tried to bind him. They would chastise him. They would punish him. They would treat him like a son in all ways. Whereas Vasudeva and Devaki, although he was their son, they knew who he was because he had appeared before them as Vishnu in the prison house. So they always had that back understanding who they were dealing with, and there was more of a sense of awe and reverence in their bhav. So raga nuga means that these practices that the six Goswamis and Lord Chaitanya have given to human society specifically in this age, and that's why Mukunda is saying that Srila Prabhupada is a representative of that theology, has given rules, regulations, and daily practices that awaken that kind of a relationship with the Lord if one follows it with that intent.
Can you explain what spontaneity, then where does that fit in?
Spontaneity means that it's not spurred and impulsed by a rule and regulation. It's spontaneous because it's a natural affection. Like a mother, if a child is in danger, spontaneously they'll stop what they're doing. They're not thinking, oh, should I really stop this activity I'm performing? It's spontaneous. It's automatic.
Can there be spontaneous love in Dwarka and also even in
Yes, but
Rangila?
it's not. There's some that are considered raga, but because they know he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and even the wives of Krishna having a more formal relationship with him is a little bit different, obviously, than the Parakiya Bhav in Vrindavan. The point that we'll read about as this expands is that Vrindavan Bhakti, Braj Bhakti, is different than all the rest of the Bhakti throughout the entire Vaikunthas. It's unique. Those forests of Vrindavan are unique. And that's the practice that takes you there.
Okay,
Tisha?
thank you.
I just have this question. Like, could Devaki and Vasudev move from the love they have to Raganuga? Or like, can we, like, we're worshiping Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, I mean, is that where we stay in that lane?
Good question. So we see from the examples of acharyas, the six Goswamis, for example, are in their eternal spiritual bodies. They're men in relationship to Lord Chaitanya, and simultaneously they have female bodies as manjaris in Vrindavan. And that. So when they come to this world and they're preaching and writing books about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his opulences, knowing all these details about him, it's obvious that that wisdom and knowledge is inherent within them. But at the same time, they're more in love with him in an intimate way, that it's not restricted or dominated by that feeling of awe and reverence. Another example, when Mother Yasoda was with Krishna and he opened his mouth and she saw the universe within his mouth, she became bewildered for momentarily, but then her motherly affection overwhelmed her, and she started treating him like her son again. However, when Arjuna saw the universal form, he said, "Oh my God, please forgive me for all my natural affection. We sat on the bed together. I thought you were my buddy, but please forgive me. Now I know who you really are." So can you see the difference between those two sentiments and those two personalities in their reciprocation and bhav? That's kind of they're good examples that show those two different things. Mukunda?
Yeah, Mother Samapriya also brings up a point a lot. Whatever relationship the devotee has in their perfection for the Lord is called their sthai bhav,
Mhm.
and they're fully nourished and satisfied in that.
Mm,
So Vasudeva and Devaki would have no
good.
desire
Oh, good.
to change over and do something else. The cowherd boys don't want to become manjaris, and etc. They're
Very
fully
good.
satisfied in the
Right.
particular mood they have.
That's
Perfect.
what I was going to say that. Thank you,
Perfect.
Mukunda.
Good.
Okay,
Well, also, just so everybody knows, we'll have a section and lesson or a reading on Sthai Bhava coming up in the text, in the course materials.
it's very exciting to know
Yes.
that it's okay to be our real self. I think it's to get to that real self. It's
Let's
very
go on,
wonderful.
okay, Priya?
Okay, let's
Great,
go on.
thanks.
Okay. Thakur Murari, would you like to read, Thakur? Let's give him a
Hare
second.
Krishna, everybody.
Di,
Hare
good morning.
Krishna.
Okay, so text 22, no, 21 and 22.
Good.
Okay, so if one cherishes pure loving devotion to me, thinking of me as his son, his friend, or his beloved, regarding himself as great and considered me is equal or inferior, I become subordinate to him. And purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, three kinds of devotion service are described, namely bhakti, that is ordinary devotion service, Sudha Bhakti, pure devotional service, and Vida Bhakti, mixed devotional service. When devotional service is executed with some material purpose, involving fruitive activities, mental speculations, or mystic yoga, it is called mixed or adulterated devotional service. Besides Bhakti Yoga, the Bhagavad Gita also describes Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. Yoga means linking with the Supreme Lord, which is possible only through devotion. Fruitive activities ending in devotional service, philosophical speculation ending in devotional service, and the practice of mysticism and in devotional service are known respectively as Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. But such devotional service is adulterated by the three kinds of material activities.
Oh, so what does that mean about the three? That means that Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga are their material activities?
Okay, I say this. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that it is divided into three sections. 18 chapter, 6 verses. So there's Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Let me see now. So there's Karma Yoga, but if it leads to devotional service, then it would be, well, as a practice towards Bhakti. So we have Karma Yoga that if it goes towards like devotional service, yes. So the process, as I said, yoga means to link with the Supreme Lord. Yes, so if the when you say the intention is to serve the Lord, then I would say it's a process. Since yoga means to link with the Supreme Lord.
Okay.
Am I making sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a little confused still. Does anybody else have something to say about that? These three things were pointed out to be material. Pati, you want to put it back there quick? I can't hear you. Yep, you have to unmute.
Sorry. As I'm looking ahead at the purport, it describes each one of them more
Describes?
clearly.
Okay, okay.
Go through it.
Okie dokie. Madan, you want to read the next one? Thank you, Thakur. Thank you for that explanation.
Okay. For those grossly engaged in identifying the body as the self, pious activities or karma yoga is recommended. For those who identify the mind with the self, philosophical speculation or jnana yoga is recommended. But devotees standing on the spiritual platform have no need for such material conceptions of adulterated devotion. Adulterated devotion does not directly aim. Adulterated devotional service does not directly aim for love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, service performed strictly in conformity with the revealed scriptures is better than such vidya bhakti, because it's free from all kinds of material contamination. It is executed in Krishna consciousness solely to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, wonderful. So what you were saying was right, Thakur, that if it leads to bhakti, it's devotional service. Madan, can you add to that?
Well, it mentions here that they have material conceptions, and the bodily conception of life is still there. So everyone starts, and the anarthas of the bodily conception of life are very prevalent. And we work for sense gratification to enjoy the material senses. And in karma yoga, one can see that there's a benefit, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, the four material goals of life, is the dharma, the prosperity dharma, that if I add doing these rituals, doing these different understandings, trying to be pious, that's pleasing to God, than being a complete demon, then that'll be good for me. So the focus is different. The focus is on how this will improve my life. And then there's inquisitive, that's just trying to figure things out. There are also it's like, I think it was Dhruva, you were pointing out in the reading of the Rasa Leela, that there was these different reasons that the gopis were appealing to Krishna for all these different, how wonderfully it is to serve him. But when they said, well, that their breasts were so hard and they were only concerned about Krishna's feet, that it was a difference.
Oh, good. Okay.
So,
Good.
that's probably good. Thank you.
Okay, that's good. Patti, could you answer that, please? It seems like Acharya was a little confused about this. It is a confusing subject matter, but can you answer that? I think Madan did good.
Yeah, Madan did do good. And scriptures, Vedic scriptures, are filled with they're a huge net for all conditioned souls, and some people will be attracted and be willing and enthusiastic to follow if there's something that attracts them as a reward for their action. They'll be more inclined to perform that. So there's karma yoga, dhyana yoga, Gyan yoga, the different processes. One time Achyutananda told this story. He said that when he first arrived with Srila Prabhupada in India, they were driving through Calcutta, and it happened to be Durga Puja. So the devotees of Durga were doing goat sacrifices right out in public before the deity, killing the goats. And Achyutananda asked Srila Prabhupada, "My God, this is gruesome." And then he asked, which is better, this kind of religion or what you just saw in New York and America, where people are going to church and following that process, the different churches and mosques or synagogues. And Prabhupada said, this is the Vedic system. And the Vedic system is put together in such a way that if people follow it in one life, they'll be elevated in their next life to a more higher standard of worship. So this is better for them.
Okay.
Does that kind of clear it up a little bit?
Acharya, can you?
Yeah. If you Are you saying that when Prabhupada mentions those three types of bhakti, I think he says ordinary bhakti, Vida bhakti, and what was the third one he mentioned?
Sudha Bhakti.
And Shuddha bhakti.
Yeah.
So when he says ordinary bhakti, does that mean like karma and jnana mishra bhakti? Is that what ordinary bhakti means?
Yeah,
Well,
in a sense, in other words, there needs to be some Chaito Darpana Marjanam. By following the process, one becomes purified.
But there's some mixture of karma and jnana.
Mhm.
That's ordinary
That-
bhakti.
yeah, that's natural due to material contaminant, material conditioning.
Okay. And Vida bhakti, I think I understand what that is. And Shuddha bhakti, is he talking about when he says Shuddha bhakti, does he mean what we might call Kevala bhakti? Like free, like more like Raganuga, or does he just mean pure devotional service?
I think go
Pure
ahead,
devotional
somebody. Pure devotional service is there are gradations. It's not like categories and boxes with just black and whites. There's gradients.
Yeah, I get that, but he still is mentioning those three different categories. So I'm just trying to understand what he means by them.
Okay, Mukunda, you got your hand up. You have a comment?
So Bahusha
Yeah.
also.
Oh, okay, Bhusha, I didn't see Bhusha.
Bhavishya Prabhu?
Go ahead, Bhusha.
Bahusha, did you want to say
No,
something?
no, it's good. Like your Dhruv Maharaj was saying about the different gradations, Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and then also Dhyana Mishra Bhakti. So the thing is that yeah, there's gradations. I mean, Prabhupada said, well, not just said, stated many places. You can test to see how advanced you're becoming by how free you are from sex desire in all forms, subtle, gross, everything. So and then as you say, gradations, you keep moving up. And then also, according to how advanced you are, the more you become attracted to Krishna, to serve and surrender and developing to whatever degree your love,
So
then also you'll be chanting more. You'll be chanting more japa. In other words, because Krishna's not different than his name. So automatically you're going to be more attracted, you'll chant more.
nice.
It'll just naturally happen and you'll crave it.
So Acharya, in that sense, we could say that ordinary devotional service is that. It's on the path. It hasn't become to the point where it's completely condensed. And of course, Shuddha Bhakti would also be included in that.
So could we say that those three categories Prabhupada mentions correspond to mixed devotional service?
Yeah.
Well done, Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti.
There you go.
Is that what are those the three categories that he's talking about?
Mukunda?
Mukunda.
So two things. One is Gyan and karma cannot really bear any fruit without some devotion. So it's called Gyan Misra. Misra means mixed. There's some devotion there, but it is not pure devotion, which is Anya Abhilasita Sunya. And so it's either mixed with karma, fruit of activities, or with the desire to accumulate knowledge that does not lead to pure devotion, but may lead to liberation, etc., yoga siddhis, etc. Then those three things also break down into what's called Arop, Sangha Bhakti, and Sudha Bhakti. So Arop Siddha Bhakti are devotees practicing, and maybe they were a musician. So they really can't give up playing rock music. So they say, I'll play rock music with the Hare Krishna mantra, right? So there's some of their own desire mixed in with the desire to serve Krishna. So this is called Arop Siddha, which means to dovetail. That was the word that the English word dovetail comes from. So we're dovetailing my desire to do a particular thing with the desire to serve Krishna, right? And then Sangha Siddha Bhakti are things which are not adverse to Bhakti per se, but they're not pure Bhakti in and of themselves. Like Srila Prabhupada gave the example, I try to give the example, if you plant gardens and so forth around auspicious trees, or you take care of cows in general, the activities are not pure Bhakti in and of themselves, but if they're Krishna's cows, or you're making the garden for the temple, now it becomes devotional service. So
Is
the
he
other
doing it
things
for
are not
Krishna?
adverse. Yeah, because when they're exclusively done for Krishna's pleasure, this is Anukulyena Krishnanu Silanam Bhakti Uttama. It becomes Sudha Bhakti.
That's a perfect segue to the last part of the purport, Sama.
But I'm still just
okay.
looking for like a thumbnail description or a
I don't think
single
you can do
sentence
that because
definition of each.
he's saying the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 3 kinds of devotional service are described.
So
So-
is there just like a brief one sentence definition of each of those 3 kinds of devotional service, just so I
think
can
about it.
understand what he's talking about?
Let's think about that for a moment and go
Okay.
on now. We'll think, that's a good question, and whoever can come up with it, that'll be welcomed. But let's go on reading. Manvantara, would you like to read?
Yes.
Oh, Manvantara, nice to hear your voice.
Those who are spontaneously devoted to the Lord and have no aims for material gain are called attracted devotees. They are spontaneously attracted to the service of the Lord, and they follow in the footsteps of self-realized souls. Their pure devotion, Sudha Bhakti, manifested from pure love of Godhead, pure love of Godhead, surpasses the regulative principles of the authoritative scriptures. Sometimes loving ecstasy transcends regulative principles. Such ecstasy, however, is completely on the spiritual platform and cannot be imitated. The regulative principles help ordinary devotees rise to the stage of perfection, of perfect love of Godhead. Pure love for Krishna is the perfection of pure devotion, and pure devotional service is identical with spontaneous devotional service.
That's a good point right
That's
there.
it, very good.
Because everybody's wondering what spontaneous means.
Read
Read that
it-
again,
Read
Manvantara.
from the regulative principles, and Tisha, listen to this, because this answers your question. The
The
regulative,
regulative principles help ordinary devotees rise to the stage of perfect love of Godhead. Pure love for Krishna is the perfection of pure devotion, and pure devotional service is identical with spontaneous devotional service. Flawless execution of regulative principles is exhibited in the Vaikuntha planets. By strictly executing those principles, one can be elevated to the Vaikuntha planets. But spontaneous, pure loving service is found in Krishna Loka alone.
Hare Krishna. And meanwhile, Mukunda is giving his commentary the whole time. Agree. Okay, yeah, this is where it's at. Okay, what do you have to say about that?
I'm appreciating the guidance of the spiritual master,
Yeah, that's very
because the definitions, you can get lost in it. I mean, not that they're not good, but you can get lost in trying to identifying every step of the process.
yes,
But when you're being guided by the spiritual master, whether the Diksha or the Siska, it just makes it nicer. It's easier
easier.
to
Good.
follow. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're fortunate that we have Prabhupada's books as references, and that's what we're getting our knowledge from. And if we have discussions like this to try to understand them, that's the essence of our lives. So we're very fortunate. Thank you. Mahushra?
One thing is in Brihad Bhagavatamritam, you have over Gopa Kumar when he's with Narada Muni in Vaikuntha. Then you see it that all the Vaikuntha bhaktas, they're all gathered together because Vishnu is going to go somewhere. And Raj Kumar, Gopa Kumar then says, "Where's he going?" And Narada Muni said, "You don't say that here. You don't say that here. We have to leave." So the thing is that it's all totally on reverence. There's no, that's why the example is given is that Gopa Kumar has that spontaneous heart. So the thing is, that's the difference. In Vaikuntha, you don't ask any of that stuff. So devotees have to remember that, is that when you're developing your Krishna consciousness, the spontaneity should develop. And you don't start saying, well, it says this, I should do this, I shouldn't do that. And, the spontaneity will naturally come.
Yeah, and with spontaneous love, you don't have to advertise it. This is another thing. You don't have to advertise it. Let that develop internally, and simultaneously becoming humbler, developing these elevated qualities that all goes together. So if we're feeling some spontaneity, that's what we want. But we can continue, as I think so many of us said here, we continue following, but we are following to develop our spontaneous love.
For the next
Mukunda.
readers, let's go from 23,
Okay, we're going to have to go
from
on to the
23 to
next.
26, even though there are some lines, just keep reading. If you
Oh,
want to have
okay.
different people read, go ahead, but no talking until 26 and 27.
Okay. Oh my. Midoriya Leela. Midoriya, want to read? I'll put it back there. Give her a second. Midoriya Leela. Okay, she's not coming. Chaitamai.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh,
I was
Midoriya,
not
and
able
then
to
Chaita
unmute,
after.
but I'm listening, so go ahead.
Do you want to read, Midoriya?
No, you.
Okay.
Listening.
Okay, Chaita.
Haribol.
Haribol, sweetie.
Haribol.
Nams to all the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Nice to
Please
be
read
here.
for us and warm your heart from the freezing
Sure.
cold New York City.
Yes, it is very cold here. Good day to be together online like this.
Okay.
Text 23, devotional service rendered to me by the living beings revives their eternal life. Wow, that's big. Oh, my dear damsels of Raj, your affection for me is your good fortune, for it is the only means by which you have obtained my favor. Wow. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Pure devotional service is represented in the activities of the residents of Rajbhumi, Vrindavan. During a solar eclipse, the Lord came from Dwarka and met the inhabitants of Vrindavan at Samanta Panchaka. The meeting was intensely painful for the damsels of Rajbhumi because Lord Krishna had apparently left them to reside at Dwarka. But the Lord obligingly acknowledged the pure devotional service of the damsels of Raj by speaking this verse, Bhagavatam 10, 82-44. Shall I continue?
Yeah.
Text 24. Mother sometimes binds me as her son. She nourishes and protects me, thinking me utterly helpless. 25. My friends climb on my shoulders in pure friendship, saying, "What kind of big man are you? You and I are equal."
Okay, let's have another Acharya. Thank you, Chaita. We're going to read these quickly and then we'll have a discussion. Acharya, would you like to read? And then Bahushra. I'll have to stop you in the middle there. Go on, Acharya Ji.
Okay. Text 26. Should I just read the first paragraph of the purport?
The first two.
First two, okay. Text 26. If my beloved consort reproaches me in a sulky mood, that steals my mind from the reverent hymns of the Vedas. Purport. According to the Upanishads, all living entities are dependent on the supreme living entity, the personality of Godhead. As it is said, Katha Upanishad 5.3, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. One eternal living entity supports all the other eternal living entities. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead maintains all the other living entities, they remain subordinate to the Lord even when joined with him in the reciprocation of loving affairs. But in the course of exchanging transcendental love of the highest purity, sometimes the subordinate devotee tries to predominate over the predominator. One who lovingly engages with the Supreme Lord as if his mother or father sometimes supersedes the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, his fiancé or lover sometimes supersedes the position of the Lord. But such attempts are exhibitions of the highest love. Only out of pure love does the subordinate lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead chide him. The Lord, enjoying this chiding, takes it very nicely. The exhibition of natural love makes such activities very enjoyable. In worship of the Supreme Lord with veneration, there is no manifestation of such natural love because the devotee considers the Lord his superior.
Good. Bahusha, you want to continue? Thank you, Acharya.
Okay.
We'll discuss this after.
Regulative principles in devotional service are meant for those who have not invoked their natural love of Godhead. When natural love arises, all regulative methods are surpassed, and pure love is exhibited between the Lord and the devotee. Although on such a platform of love, the devotee sometimes appears to predominate over the Lord or transgress regulative principles. Such dealings are far more advanced than ordinary dealings through regulative principles with awe and veneration. A devotee who is actually free from all designations due to complete attachment in love for the Supreme exhibits spontaneous love for Godhead, which is always superior to the devotion of regulative principles. The informal language used between lover and beloved is significant of pure affection. When devotees worship their beloved as the most venerable object, spontaneously loving sentiments are observed to be lacking. A neophyte devotee who follows the Vedic instructions that regulate those who lack pure love of Godhead may superficially seem more exalted than a devotee in spontaneous love of Godhead. But in fact, such spontaneous pure love is far superior to regulated devotional service. Such pure love of Godhead is always glorious in all respects, more so than reverential devotional service rendered by a less affectionate devotee.
Okay, one more reader. We have Sudha Sindhu. My darling, would you like to read Sudha Sindhu?
Yes,
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. I shall broadcast such pastime by which even I am amazed. Purport. Lord Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya educates his devotees to develop progressively to the stage of pure devotional service. Thus, he appears periodically as a devotee to take part in various wonderful activities depicted in his sublime philosophy and teachings. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and in all of them the Lord accepts the service rendered by his eternal devotees in a reverential mood. Therefore, Lord Krishna presents his most confidential pastime as he enjoys them in his transcendental realm. Such pastimes are so attractive that they attract even the Lord, and thus he relishes them in the form of Lord Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna. All the answers. Prabhupada used to say that. Just keep reading. All the answers will come.
Read this one more time, Surasattva.
Sindhu.
Such pastimes are so attractive that they attract even the Lord, and thus he relishes them in the form of Lord Chaitanya.
That's the essence of what's being presented by Krishnadas Kaviraj, saying that even the Lord is attracted because he's saying, now I'll take these kind of devotees with me and I'll advent.
You know, also what Mahusha read, if you could read that again, a little bit of it, put it down, Patti, so we can, go up there. When a neophyte, the second paragraph, Bahusha, the neophyte devotee follows the Vedic instructions.
Wow.
A neophyte devotee.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, there. A neophyte devotee who follows the Vedic instructions that regulate those who lack pure love of Godhead may superficially seem more exalted than a devotee in spontaneous love of Godhead. But in fact, such spontaneous pure love is far superior. Can you raise it?
Yeah.
Is
Go on.
far, let me see.
But in fact, such spontaneous love.
Regular, okay. But in fact, such pure love is far superior to a regulated devotional service. Such pure love of Godhead is always glorious in all respects, more so than reverential devotional service rendered by a less affectionate devotee.
Okay. Okay, let's have a nice
We
big
didn't hear
look.
from Teta Mai either about her realizations.
Oh, well, okay, so
Missing that.
everybody's, what do you think, Chaitanya?
Hare Krishna. So much is contingent upon relationship. I really appreciate I think it was the third paragraph that was read that emphasizes that those who are in that mode of Aishwarya, they're not tasting it. They understand I'm in the presence of something powerful, but they're not tasting the joy and the delight and the intimacy and the ongoing pastimes. This is the essence of the spiritual world. And unless you come to the point where you're ready to interact with Krishna on one of these rasas, then you're not going to be tasting it. It all sounds good, but we have to cross that line from
Okay, but
formality.
when you say that they're not tasting it, we discussed before how Vasudeva and Devaki are satisfied with their position and they're tasting something. They're tasting the thing that is awakened in their soul spontaneously. But now Lord Chaitanya has come to give this very, very special kind of bhakti.
Yeah, maybe they were not exposed. They've not been exposed to
Well, they
Radha
are
Bhakti.
eternally, that's their eternal bhav. So they're just like Hanuman. He is
Yeah.
situated in his eternal bhav. You read the Brihat and you see that Hanuman is satisfied. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He's happy to
Yeah.
stay where he is. But he's encouraging others to go. You know, just
So-
because we have the highest thing doesn't mean that people everyone
Right,
can be
right.
satisfied, you know. What?
Well,
No, but
once
Murari
you
Gupta
once
comes
you've
as
tasted it, once you know that it exists, you won't settle for anything less. That's
No,
That's
not
Or-
true. Not true at all.
No,
No?
No, the example was the good one in Brihat Bhagavatamrita. Narad is visiting with Hanuman and starts speaking about going to visit Krishna in Hastinapur and the Pandavas. And Hanuman gets real excited and he jumps up into the air to go with him. And then all of a sudden he stops and he says, I'm satisfied right here. I know that they're more advanced. I know that they're more intimate with Krishna, but I love my Lord Ramachandra. I'm just going to stay here and worship him.
no,
And
no,
also-
but it came out later where Hanuman comes as Murari Gupta.
Well, then it's all
And he also said the same thing. He also said the same thing.
right.
He was one of the devotees who said, I can't, there's so many examples in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anupama, he's up all night trying to chant Hare Krishna. He can't stop chanting Jai Ram. You know, this is like, we can't disturb another person's bhav. We have to encourage people to love Krishna according to their own individual.
I like the example of a seed. If a
yeah.
seed, if a seed of a small flower is planted next to a big mango tree, and look, you know, somebody may say, well, it's looking at that mango tree. It really wants to be a mango tree. But when the seed, which has the potential of a flower, manifests, then what is inherent within it will manifest. And that's perfect for that circumstance. So in the same way, all living entities, Mamaivam sa jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, they're all fragmental parts of the complete whole and have an inherent nature which is perfect for them in relation to the whole.
Yeah, and also in relation to one more thing, then Mukunda, in the Bhakti Lata, it requires Shravanam Kirtanam to grow. And it's just like seeds in the ground. It requires sunlight and it requires water to grow, but a mango seed will grow into a beautiful mango tree, and tomato seed will go into a tomato, and they're not having an argument. They're cool with each other, both to be offered to Krishna. Mukunda, did I make myself clear?
Yeah,
You
that was
did.
good.
Okay. Okay. Good.
And Bahushra's point was very good. I'm telling one verse that's really important. Prem neva goparamanam kamam iti agamat pratam udava apietan vajanti bhagavat priya. Gaur Leela is the pastime in which all the devotees from previous incarnations, Hanuman, the Panchapandavas, Uddhava, the four Kumaras, Jai and Vijay, they all come into Gaur Leela and they get the benefit to taste the intensity, Rupa Goswami says, of Braj Leela in a special mood in Gaur Leela.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah.
How cool is that? That's like everything's being fulfilled.
Everybody's desire is fulfilled because they come in Gaur Leela, which is the Odorja Leela. And in the Kirtan, in the house of Srivas, they taste the intensity of what Prem is in the Ras Leela. Without their Swarup, they taste, it's called Kirtan Ras.
And what about when Lord Chaitanya was, what is that called, that pastime? When Lord Chaitanya is relating to each devotee the way they want to relate to him. What is that?
Satpaharya Leela.
Yeah.
In the Satpaharya Leela, he showed each devotee that the same Ishtadev that you worship, I'm that person.
And that goes along with the verses that we just read. That Krishna, in the incarnation of Krishna, all of those different so-called hats that Krishna wears, the different aspects of Krishna are present. Okay, this is wonderful.
Okay, so that's the introductory verses to this chapter. We'll be continuing.
I want to ask Acharya if he's settled up. Acharya-ji, are you?
I think he still wants a definition of those three.
No, I'm good. I've constructed in my head definitions that work for me for the discussion that Prabhupada is having.
Okay, good.
I'm satisfied with where I'm at now.
Okay, that's self-realization right there. Good.
That's an overly generous description, but
good one.
I have a lot of things like that, like definitions and works in progress going on in my head. That'll evolve and change as time goes on, but I'm good for now.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay, holy cow. Got to take rest after this one.
Okay. Everyone.
Thank you so much.
Vatikalpatabhishta
Kripasindudevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hare Krishna, have a good week, everybody.